Good evening. I think we're live. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm assuming you've probably just seen our film. So thank you very much for watching that. We're just looking at some messages coming in. It's lovely. I think what we'll do. Thank you very much. We got a nice message from Hillary. Thank you. How much research did you have? Okay, well, that's a question we'll come up with in a minute, Hillary. Thank you. So, yeah, I think you probably guessed from my labels. I'm Mike, and I was the writer and composer, and for this, the director. And this is Jenny.
Hello.
And she is the producer and all-round organizer of us all. And obviously runs together. And then right over there, in what is to me the top left corner, but we've got Matt Flood and Beth, Matt F. And Matt was the mixing engineer on the sound and also the drone pilot for the aerial photography. And we've also got Beth next to him. And she also was a great, she was a stand for Lucy when we were doing testing for hair and things, yeah. And generally helping us person. What did we call her? We always say the runner, yeah. But there was another lovely phrase that we said, wasn't it? There was the, it was like best boy but best girl, that type of thing. That's is it? Oh well, whatever. And then in the bottom left corner to me, however it is you're seeing it, we've got Matt Miller, and hi Matt. He was the cinematographer and general lighting advisor and all things camera, really. So all that camera work was essentially Matt's doing. And of course, the star of the show, bottom right, is Lucy Alexander. And she was just, she was fabulous in it. And what more can we say? I mean, there was, when we were doing the editing, there was so much footage there. But we put the actual film together onto the music, so the music was there. So I couldn't really change the music, and I was really just sport for choice on how much brilliant acting there was I could have put in, but I had to leave some of it out. So if there's like a director's cut extended version in the future, there's plenty to take from that filming. So thank you very much.
Some nice comments coming through.
Just reading them.
Oh right, okay. I don't know if anyone can see these or not.
I can put them up.
Yeah, pop some up.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, if we could please
one
those
for
over.
you, Matt, from Ruth.
Yep.
I assume that's
Shout out to my auntie.
Well done, Auntie Ruth. What else have we got? Oh, this is so nice. All these people. Alex Herford, I loved it. Thank you, Alex. That's brilliant. Things have been going up the bottom. Oh, we've got Beverly at the bottom. Beverly, well done, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we've got someone called Sarah Alexander. I wonder if that's anything to do with Lucy Alexander.
My assistant.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. And then Hillary's got a question, but I'll skip over that for a minute. Incredible filming, Matt. Yeah, I agree. Harry Shepherd's comment there. Thank you, Harry. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. That's brilliant. We've got Leslie Boniface. Leslie, one of our most ardent supporters, I think, on all things social. So supportive. Thank you, Leslie. And you've got higher. Well done, everyone. What else we've got? Loved it. I think I've done those now. Did I say about Sharon Hunt at the top? No. Thank you, Sharon. A fantastic production. Well done, everyone. Oh, this is just too nice. Okay. Right. Okay. So, anyone else want to sort of chip in with anything before we start on some questions? Would you all know? I'm going to introduce the point, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
So I'm nattering on. I do this. I sort of waffle on a bit. So yeah. So thank you. We've got another one from Bill at the top there. Everyone very much. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's a moving story, Bill, isn't it? It's and I think it's an important from New Haven's point of view. So yeah. So people may or may not know that. So I'm sort of looking at the comments. Right. So this is obviously the 900th anniversary year of St Michael's Church, and we had a number of events planned for this year. And of course, because of the COVID situation, most of those were postponed. They're not cancelled; they're just postponed. And we're going to have a 900 plus years anniversary celebrations next year or whenever it may be. But we still plan to do those things. And one of the things was going to be a live show of the 900 Years of Journey Through Time suite of music that was showcased almost just over a year today, was it? In November, showcased the music. And we were going to make hopefully you're going to make a show out of that and do a live performance, but obviously that was the other way. So in the end, we decided to try and do at least something that was tangible for this current year to do with the 900 years celebrations. And so from the 900 years a Journey Through Time project, part of it, this is what we decided to do. And that sort of leads us into Hillary's question, if I can still see that somewhere. It's gone out the bottom now.
There's loads of questions coming in, so better.
Oh, thank you very much, Jess. How much research did you need to do to make this so authentic? Who wrote the beautiful, moving narration? Shucks. Well,
guess who? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you never guess. Yes, research. There was a lot of research done because there did lots of research to start with for the whole of the project for the 900th anniversary 900 years project, and this was one of the stories that I sort of had heard about in the past anyway, because I think from a New Haven point of view, it's a very important story, really, and usually it's just told factually that the Brazen sank and 105 people died and etc. etc. And each year at the church on the 26th of January, or the Sunday to that, each year we do a commemoration service at the Brazen Memorial. So as I'm the organist at the church as well, it's something that every year is a very moving part of the church calendar. And so I just thought, if we're talking about New Haven history over the 900 years, that I think is one of the most important events. So I sort of honed in on that and got some information from folders at a New Haven Museum, which is fab down there. There's so much amazing information down there. And also there are other people who knew about the Brazen story anyway. There's a chap called Martin Edwards at the church who it's one of his favourite topics, and Jen has done another film, or factual film, about the Brazen. So I just wanted to try and approach it from a slightly different point of view. So yeah, it was me who wrote those words, and they wouldn't have been so effective, I don't think, unless they'd been narrated so brilliantly by Lucy. So Lucy did the narration there as well, and yeah, that's it, I think, really.
Just a side note, off camera, Mike and Jenny are here for us, and opposite. So if they breaking the fourth wall, but if you see us looking at each other,
yeah, we're looking this way.
Time travel.
Right, another question. There's loads coming through.
Someone else can
Try
answer the
and
question.
Let's go from the top of the radar.
Oh, yeah, go on then. Pop one in, please.
Yeah.
There's one about going from
What a
light
question
to
I'll do.
Huh?
Where is the graveyard where Mr. Hanson is buried?
Hang on, that's.
Ah,
I haven't even seen that one yet.
yeah. Who asked that one?
Shall we?
Oh, second one up here. Julia. Julia. I hope I said it.
Yes. There we are.
Would anyone else like to say
Yeah,
about that?
it's in the churchyard of St Michael's. So I don't know if you're local, but it's actually a memorial. So the shot that you saw in the film was actually a close up through the railings of the memorial there. So that's the one when Mike was talking about. There's a service every year there. That's where the service is held. So it's just in St Michael's churchyard.
Although his body wasn't found, was it?
No, his body, yeah, he's not there. There's 90, the 95 that were brought back were there, but Hanson wasn't there, so
Yeah.
unfortunately he was never found.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. What other ones have we got here?
Yeah, this
So
is a good
many.
one.
So many.
Oh, there was one about Lucy. and
How
her-
did you? We got one up now from
Ah.
Andrew Lean.
All right.
How did you change from night to dawn? How's that achieved?
Right.
Delighted.
Well, I don't want to do all the talking. So I don't know. Matt M, do you want to?
Yeah.
How we did that?
Okay. Well, a lot of this that was done in post production by Mike. Yeah. So we actually filmed it. It wasn't sunrise, it was actually sunset, wasn't it? So we've kind of worked backwards, which was a bit of a challenge in itself, but then that's kind of cleaned off in post-production. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's an illusion.
The weather was sometimes a challenge with that as well.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Well, any other ones? Thank you for the question. Anyway,
A
Andrew.
couple of people have asked about Lucy, how she cried. I
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Brilliant.
Indeed.
Yes,
Go on,
Lucy,
Lucy.
please.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting when you're kind of at a memorial for, because the memorial's actually there and he's a real person. I found that helped a lot, kind of connecting to the character and how she was feeling in that moment. Also, yeah, you can just kind of relate when you're on set, and I feel like it was really kind of helpful, kind of connecting to the character through being there, being in the costume. It all helps when you're there to get into like the emotional place. Also, it was quite windy that day, which helped a bit, make my eyes water a little bit. But yeah, it's just kind of as an actor, I guess you try and connect to the character in the situation and how she'd feel, and the tears kind of naturally came in that sense. But the wind definitely helped a little bit.
Yeah, I think also I'd like to chip in there. The scene you saw at the memorial with Lucy's tears coming down, that wasn't the only time she did it. She can just turn them on whenever she wants to. So, it was just amazing to see. So there were scenes down on the beach as well, weren't there, when there were some tears as well, but we couldn't have too many tears.
Didn't want to make it too.
It's just the whole film needs just crying.
Yeah. Right. We're just looking at. Should we do the
Who
top
did
one?
the costumes?
When you say top, is that?
Sorry, that's the top.
Okay,
last
so
one. I thought it's Jess.
So this one's from Jess.
Who did the costumes?
It was a company in Brighton called Gladrags Costumes, and it's absolutely fantastic there. They've got this warehouse that's absolutely full of costumes. I've never seen so many costumes, and they cater specifically for community projects. So it means it makes it more affordable for projects to actually have costumes. And it was a time when we were so this was September when we were doing it. So it was not long after being in lockdown, and they'd only recently opened. So it was all very COVID secure, and they got a dummy for us and they were trying them on. So we
Does it? Yeah, I do that one. There's a new button. So we've never used this software before, so it's like really exciting. It's a new button.
So if ever you've got a project and you need some costumes, I'd highly recommend them. They're so helpful. They would suddenly sew things up and iron them while we were there, and it was just brilliant. Yeah. Any others?
Thank you. I saw one going through there. What was everyone's favourite bit of the film? Is that Jordan Ramsey Clements? Jordan? Is that something you know?
Yes.
Right, so who hasn't? Lucy, please. Have you got a favourite part of the film?
Oh, in terms of shots, I love the drone shot at the end, which a lot of people have mentioned the drone in the comments. I think that's a beautiful shot, and like with the sun setting over the sea, it's just gorgeous. And in terms of from an actor's point of view, I really enjoyed running along the beach in the dark, in the storm. It was really fun to film that, and like falling to the floor and doing all that kind of dramatic stuff. As an actor, it was really fun and enjoyable to be able to kind of explore that. So those are probably my two favourite parts.
I mean, Lucy was really good because it was really windy, but she was going for it. She was wetting her hair and getting into character. It was fantastic to watch.
Oh, and you ran up and down that beach so many times. I don't know how you kept doing it. You just kept going, right, okay, we're going again, just up and down the beach the whole time. It must have been so tiring.
Yeah, because we had a second camera, which was me, but I was only behind Matt really doing his, and Lucy and Matt were running so many times, as Beth said, and I sort of I said, I'll join in. We'll just run up here for a bit once, and then I thought, you just do it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So I can do it. Yeah. Anyone else's favourite part?
Oh no, you're not getting away with that. He did it once, and then he did it again and fell over.
And then Matt fell over when he was trying to run.
Yeah, we did have a few falls.
That later on. I know what Beth's referring to. Anyway, Matt, Flood, any favourite part?
I'm a fan of, like, it's a really small shot, but I'm a fan of the shot of the gravestone. So, like,
Mm.
big shout out to Matt's cinematography there through the bars. I really like that.
I'll stop it, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Okay, yeah.
My favourite, I don't know. My favourite shot-wise is probably actually not of any of the people. It's other than the drone shots, that's already been said. The one right at the end, just with the seagulls flying over the cliff.
Yeah.
I think it's symbolic of, like, it's sad, but like the lives that were lost on it. It's just all the birds flying over the cliff. I think it's quite symbolic and very nice. Very sad.
Who else is there? Is it you?
I like most of them, but I really liked the ones we did inside the church with the blue light and how the candlelight, you can see the candlelight reflected in Lucy's eyes, which I think's really lovely. And sort of you catch the odd sparkle in her hair. It's just such a quiet moment. I just really love the colour. I love everything about that shot.
It was a lot of fun filming that inside, the sort of creative aspect of that, the lighting. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, they did a great job as well. Anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, I think I must say, I like all of the shots. But I think my favourite one is what I call the epic 50s heroine shot, which is just before we come off the beach, and it's close up of Lucy sort of looking up at the cage, and it's very, very close up, and it's got the clouds in the background, and it's quite a dramatic part. So I think that's one of my favourite shots of all, I think. Thank you.
Another question?
Yes, what should we go for?
What have we got?
There's so many. I thank you for all these questions, by the way. It sort of caught us out. We were expecting about 2 or 3. That's best.
There were a lot of questions about the drone and how there were loads about them.
Right, let's go for one.
We've got what have we got? We've got
Never been on the beach without seeing a boat or plane trail. How did you like it?
Right. Can you see that one? Yes.
Yeah. We've got lots of
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and also the arm.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we were very lucky because it wasn't too much of a problem. We didn't have any planes fly over at all when we were filming. So I suppose that's an effect of the whole situation. Not so many planes flying. There were a couple of boats. There was a sort of a tanker one that was on the horizon on the opening sequence. And then there was one boat floating in the middle of the sea on the final sequence when the drone goes high. And again, we did those in post-production. So one of my biggest trials was learning the actual software to do the editing, which was a thing called Premiere Pro. So if anyone, you may well know that I'm really experts, but for me it was very much a what is the bit I need to try and do now, and then look it up on YouTube or something. So that was how we did it anyway. We just had a couple of little things to take out on Premiere Pro, and yeah, there was a sequence that no matter how hard we tried, we were just using cameras with small sort of viewfinders there, so you couldn't really see everything through the viewfinder, I don't think. And there were a couple of occasions where there were things in the background that we tried. We were very selective where we filmed to try and avoid modern day elements. But there were a few again that we had to take out with a bit of masking in the background. Yeah, thank you.
You spent so long on masking, I swear.
Yeah, no, don't tell them. Sort of no masking. Yeah, quick job. Yeah, easy. Anyway, carry on. Another one.
So some of the questions from earlier.
Yes, thank you.
Some about the drone. We've got.
What inspired you to make the film?
Yeah, this one's from Linda Hill. What inspired you to make the film?
It was the story. Yeah, it was the story really. Having thank you for the question, Linda Hill. It was it's always been I think because of the memorial services every year, it's been a constant sort of presence in my mind really. And I think it's such an important story for New Haven as a whole, because there's association with it. The town tried to go out and save the people. They couldn't get there. And the end result was they were one of the first places in the country, New Haven, funded partly by the town's people. Then a whip round, I suppose, but other things. But yeah, and they actually had one of the first ever lifeboats in the country, and it was about 20 years before the RNLI was formed. So it's quite it's an important event, it's a horrible event, but it is an important event in the history of the town, I think. So that's it. And I just thought everyone knows about people dying, etc. But usually, in my experience anyway, I'm not it's the people that are in their family and around them and the effect things have on them. And so I just wanted to look at it from a slightly different perspective, and that's why I chose to write it, an imagined way of how Louisa Hanson may have felt, finding out about it, etc. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Bill's
ask some other ones from
I was
people.
going to say, Bill's got one that's for everyone, so everyone can.
Thank you. Yeah. Shall I read this one out? I don't think so, have you got that one?
No.
Well, we're about to find out.
Sorry. Yeah. So thank you, Bill. It's a question. It says, for each of you involved in your different areas of expertise, what did you find to be the biggest learning curve in this venture? Lucy, yes, thank you.
The biggest learning curve, I'd say, because I've just finished at drama school, and so I did quite a lot of screen acting lessons at drama school. So for me, my biggest kind of learning curve was actually putting them to the test, really. Being kind of on set, filming, repeating things over and over again. I ran across that beach hundreds of times. It's just kind of getting grips to doing that, having a camera, so close to your face, having such close-ups, it just was a real good learning curve to kind of put those skills that I learned at drama school to the test. And it's kind of my first professional screen acting after drama school, so it was a really, really great experience. I'm very grateful that I got to do it with the lovely Floods and Matt. So yeah.
Something that I thought was quite amazing with Lucy with the camera was the drone got so close to your face sometimes, and it was literally like this far away, and that must have been so scary. I'd have been worried that my hair would have gotten caught in it, or that you would have slightly moved the camera, and sometimes it was quite windy and the drone would kind of wobble.
I had to just trust Matt.
I
had to just trust them. Just don't chop my head off with the drone.
They've got some very advanced like proximity sensors on there. Just don't turn them off.
No. So did you learn anything?
And we had insurance, so
Yeah.
we were all right.
Yeah. People insurance.
People insurance.
Yeah.
I've got an idea of how to segue into some other questions, so
okay.
If you don't mind if I go last.
Oh, okay. Beth, did you learn anything?
How to hold things in very cold and very I was quite grateful for the COVID gear that we had. We each had what kind of bags they're called, like a drawstring bag, just full of all the stuff we need, so masks and hand sanitizer and visors and gloves, all that. And my hands were really cold. I was holding the music for Lucy on the beach to get into the zone with the music, and my hands were so cold because it was raining. So I got like 2 pairs of the gloves, COVID gloves, to try and keep my hands warm. So that was a learning curve, learning to stay out in the cold for a while.
Freezing.
How about Matt M? How about you?
Yeah, well, definitely. So one of the shots running along the beach, me and Lucy running up and down, was so I was using a Steadicam, and I will not make this mistake again. I was watching the screen, not my feet, and of course straight over. Not fun, but we were all right. And then probably the other thing was the indoor shots, doing the lighting for that. I haven't done much with lighting before, so that was really good to do and really valuable experience.
Right.
You've got some really good reflexes with the Steadicam, though, haven't you?
It was very impressive.
Found out that moment.
Yeah. I mean, at the time it wasn't funny, but looking back on it, it was actually quite funny. Because it's nice because Matt wasn't hurt, and in the end, there was no damage or anything. But as Matt sort of just slips off the edge of this little path that we'd already recce'd and cleared of rocks and things, so it wasn't a hazard, but we didn't realise it ran out sideways. But anyway, so Matt's going, and he was sort of going through the area. It was like one of those slow motion moments. But as Matt said, he had a Steadicam at the bottom of the camera. The camera's on the top, and it was like a stick underneath. And as he went down, his only concern was for the camera. And it was like, you know, the majorettes when they twiddle their things and they're marching, they front. As he went down, he was spinning this steady cam like that, and it landed camera side up, just on the sort of foot of the steady cam. So it was a brilliant piece of dexterity, I think, in the falling variety. Yeah. You got
yeah, because I was doing a lot of the pre-production, which involved a lot of legal stuff. Really, it's things like getting permissions from landowners to be able to film on the beach and on the cliff top. Health and safety stuff. I went on I did an online, because it's not a lot, you know, everything's online at the moment. An online COVID exam, and wrote a COVID protocol. So a lot of the things I was amazed about how much work a producer has to actually do, because we were a small project. We were, I think someone mentioned that going through. We did we had a lot of roles each, because of COVID, we were only 3 households that were working on the project. So we sort of had to be able to do lots of different things. So there were those sort of admin legally things, but the nice things were like choosing the props and going to the costume place. I loved that. So all that was, and sort of meeting people, local people, and all the different organisations that are there to help you when you're doing a project like this. So that was really great. That was a good learning curve. So lots of contacts now. So if we do another one.
Yeah. I think for me the learning curve. Well, there were lots of them, to be honest, but certainly learning the Premiere Pro software. That was fun, but I did enjoy it. But it's frustrating sometimes. What else was it? There was something else we were talking about earlier. Oh yeah. Continuity. Yeah, that was. We really tried. You can see people nodding in the other boxes. We really tried so hard to have continuity, right? So that we could cut easily from scene to scene and everything be in the right place. And no matter how hard we tried, there were just small details and things that we just didn't know. None of us noticed at the time. I think in big film production things, they have actual continuity people, don't they? But
yeah,
I think there's a question earlier on as well about we all had different roles, so we didn't have a continuity person, so we just sort of go for it really, and we were aware of it. But it was just little minute things like the way on the cliff top, for example, Lucy's hat or bonnet. Lucy's bonnet had ribbons hanging down, and on some of the sequences, the wind was blowing the ribbon over her right shoulder, and others it was blowing over the left shoulder, and then sometimes in the back it was the wrong shoulder. And then there were things like the bunch of flowers. That was quite funny. The posy of flowers at the churchyard scene that had ribbons on as well, and from one scene to the other that we were sort of intended to do, all of a sudden a ribbon wouldn't be there, or it would be there. So we were sort of aware of the big things like road signs and the arm, the lighthouse and stuff like that wouldn't have been there. But it was the really small things that caught me out. Really, I think it's my fault because I wasn't aware of them.
I'll say I think the key is don't have ribbons in a production.
Yeah, don't have ribbons. Yeah, no, that's right. So I think that's sort of it really. And then I've got a really important method. Currently, my tie's not straight. Look, very important. And also this isn't mirrored. It is mirrored, so I don't know which way the tie goes now. Look at that.
In the middle.
I might just have to, but I don't know where the middle, which side. Oh, there you go. So I'm back to front. It's like doing this. It's a tie. Anyway, Matt, you wanted to be the last one to answer this question, so you could move into something else.
I can do a pretty good segue here. So one of the biggest things I learned was a bit more about stable drone flying. I've seen quite a lot of things coming through. Steve Hunt says, "Who was flying the drone? 'Twas me." How many takes were required? How many takes did we do for the last drone shot? Was it
was
like 3
few,
or 4?
But I think the one that we used was the first take.
Yeah.
Was it?
Second take it was.
Second take.
So we tried a few. Yeah.
But 2 if you want to make me sound like a good.
With the cliff drop shot as well. There was a lot of people walking on the cliff, so we had to do a lot of waiting for people to walk the path that I was walking, and then let them go out shots off.
Yeah, waiting. Yeah, and there were some kind of people that did actually wait back. I remember them. They were waiting sort of away, maybe about 50, 60 yards away because they saw something was going on. So they sort of waited there with the dog, which was really nice. Didn't realise though that when Matt's drone's going up that high, it can just see for so much
I don't know,
further.
like,
We were lucky to get shots where there were no one. There was
Yeah.
no one there. Sorry. Carry
No,
on,
just
please.
going back to the continuity as well, just trying not to get any houses in or the arm or like boats and things like that. Yes, thank you for all the love for the drone shots. Tom Hill asks, did you have any difficulties with the drone? Well,
We will have to, shall we all look appropriately?
so picture this. It's the last day of filming, literally the last night. Of the drone shots. We're doing the last drone shot. We have just wrapped up for the day, and I'm getting like there's a storm in the distance, all grey skies, really like dark and gloomy, and it's just like, oh, this is perfect. So I do like a what do you call it? Like just a pullback shot from the ocean coming back in. So I'm about 400 meters out and taking it back, and we're all sort of helping pack things away at the same time. And it's just when I forgot exactly where I was. It was pitch black. I was bringing it in literally for safety reasons at this point. And of course, that's when I hear a smack, isn't it? The sound of plastic whacking a cliff. The sound of my drone smashing itself.
Smashed into the cliff.
30 miles an hour in New Haven with the camera at the front dangling. So we looked into getting this repaired. Turns out the price of repair is the same price as getting a new drone, so we're not quite sure.
This has been cleaned up since it
It has.
This has new props on it.
Yeah.
It's been completely cleaned and made as nice as it can be.
The
But it was horrific. I mean, when we tried to find it after we heard it, or I think it was actually Jen that heard it smack against the cliff.
yeah.
It took us 5-10 minutes to actually find it. And I found just
And
the
bits.
battery first on its own.
Which is never a good sign. It's
That
really
is
never
never
a
a
good
sign.
sign to
And
just
then,
find a drone
the
battery.
rest of the body, and it was missing 1.5
Propellers.
the rotors,
Yeah.
and the camera does not function anymore. Well, it does technically.
Well,
But-
yeah, it won't fly like this. It will say it's not safe to fly, which is, of course,
True.
what it should do
Correct.
because you can't see.
And unfortunately, when it crashed, because it hit the cliff from the back.
I want to say this. I want to say this. I was getting to that. I was getting to that.
Okay.
Just literally to add insult to injury, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it would have hit the cliff. Where was it? It looks fine from here because it's been cleaned up. I think it would have hit there. There's like a really, really tiny little scuff. And that scuff just happens to be exactly where the memory card slot is. And the memory card took a lot of damage. So we lost all the footage from that day.
No, the frustrating thing is it didn't even take a lot of damage. I had a very slight crack down the SD card.
Yeah.
But it completely lost all the footage.
That was it. All the footage of that day gone, which was very annoying. Alas, yeah. F's in the chat for this.
Right.
Sacrifices were made for this film.
Shame. Right. So, what are the ones we've got? I don't. Are we still okay for doing questions? I mean, there still just seem to be a fair number of people here, so we'll just carry on until you. That's right. Yeah, we go. You've got more of the questions there, I think.
How many hours of filming?
Yeah.
To then edit for the final film.
From
And how long did it take?
Who's that from?
From Nabil. I hope I'm saying this right. Nabil. Nabil.
Yeah, it's Nabil.
Nabil. Cool.
Thank you. Yeah. 20 hours altogether of footage to condense down to just over 10 minutes. Yeah, so we were filming for a week, really.
A week.
And I suppose really under the heading of what did I learn as well, and my learning curve is I sort of had an idea of how it might be and how it might look, but I didn't really know well, especially, I mean, I knew Lucy was a brilliant actress because I've known her a long time anyway. So I know she's a fantastic actress, but I didn't know exactly how fantastic she was until I saw her doing some of the stuff. And same with Matt. I'd seen some of Matt Miller. This is Matt M's videos that he's done with MDM Productions, and you know, and I knew it was good, but I'd not seen anything that was like period drama-ish. So when we started on the Monday, I thought, oh, this could be, this could really be good. And so did lots and lots of the same thing, just slightly differently. And everyone was so sort of patient, especially Lucy and Matt M. And by the end of the week, we actually did the beach scene last in the end. And that was because the day before, when we were going to do it, we did do it, but the light was wrong. But then some of the things that Lucy did in the acting were so good that, but they were like wrong angles and things, and the continuity wouldn't have been right to put them in. So we all went back the next day and then filmed it to an actual schedule, which is really what I should have done from the start. So I suppose if we'd been a proper director, right on day one, I'd have had it all written down and in a proper sort of order and everything. But by Friday, Friday, I did have a shooting schedule, didn't I? Yeah. So that was a good learning curve. Yeah.
And then lead on to that, there was one just underneath that was how many hours to edit, how long it take to edit.
You better ask Jenny that one.
It's just underneath.
I wasn't editing, I was living with the editor.
It seemed forever. I think it was forever. No, it was about definitely
lots of late nights, early mornings.
Yeah, probably. I think it's about 5 to 6 weeks to do.
It was definitely
about 5 or 6 weeks to edit. But again, I mean, if people if there's anyone listening who's a professional editor or anything, they probably could have knocked it together in a day or something. But I was learning as I went along as well, and that was a big part of it. I'm sure that it wouldn't be that bad for someone who did it all the time.
Connection issues.
Thank you for those questions. What else have we got?
Who was a seagull trainer?
Really? Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah. Well, that'd be a secret. There's a special person that we know who trains seagulls. No, it's not. No, that was actually a fluke, wasn't it? I think Matt was just taking some footage of it with a sort of vague idea we could maybe use it.
Well, I think I was just taking it just because I think it looked nice. I didn't think I actually thought it was going to go into the film.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where, sort of looking at all the stuff in the end, I thought this does actually fit perfectly, because I think, as Beth said earlier on, there is that analogy with maybe souls flying away or still being at the sea and all that sort of thing. So it seemed to fit brilliantly, that, I thought. It was nice to put that one in.
On the topic of birds, quickly,
Yeah.
there was another shot I thought of that I really liked that was completely accidental by the drone, and we didn't realise until it was editing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just going over the cliffs, wasn't it, right at the start? It was like a pan over the cliffs right at the start of the film if you rewatch it to find it. And there was a cormorant just like drying its wings on the cliffs.
Yeah.
I thought it was so nice and so symbolic of New Haven in general, because it's all been based around the town. It's been really involved in the town.
Yeah.
And the cormorant's a symbol of New Haven now. It has been since there was the original model. I don't know when that was.
No, I don't know.
But for a long time, the cormorant's been the kind of symbol of New Haven. And just in this shot, there was a beautiful cormorant drying its wings in front of the camera. And that was a really, really nice shot. If you want to look out for that.
Yeah.
If you watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're watching it, it's the sort of third Cliffy or the second Cliffy scene, isn't it? The one before we actually go up to see Lucy at the top. And if you look at it, it's sort of the sort of bottom quarter of the screen. That's where the cormorant is. Yeah. In the pose that is of the pose of the cormorant in the river by the bridge. Yeah, so that's symbolic. Yeah. Any other? Sorry, I should look that way. Really, I'll keep looking this way.
Yeah. Here's one from Arthur Dent. Did you take any inspiration from Connecticut's The Storm?
This must be to me as well. So yeah, no, Connecticut. Thank you, Arthur. No, I've got to say anyway. I love Connecticut as a band. I think they're a fantastic band, and a certain person and some other person very near to me used to play one of their songs particularly every single night, didn't they? Anyway, sorry, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's one of our favourite bands. But sorry, no, there wasn't any influence from the Storm album. Sorry about that.
What else have we got? We've got what is the team's next production going to be?
Well, we haven't really got one planned, have we?
No.
No, we're hoping that that next year, if things pan out, we might be able to try and do the live show of the 900 Years album. But no, well, there might be some little secret thing for Christmas, mightn't there?
Oh yeah.
That we sort of get involved with, but you might see about that on Christmas Eve. But that's top secret.
What about Lucy? Because Lucy, you've got a production
absolutely
that you're involved in.
Sorry, you've just broken up there. I didn't actually quite catch that.
Oh.
Can you say again?
I was going to say you've got you're involved in something at the moment, aren't you?
I can't hear you. Oh no. I can't hear you, Jenny.
We'll do a message.
We can hear you, Luce, I think.
Put it in the private chat.
That's what I'm doing.
Just checking. Can everyone hear everyone okay on the stream?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
Okay, cool.
Maybe my Wi-Fi.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's Mo.
That's for Lucy. Can you see that?
Can you see the message?
I think bottom
Oh,
left.
what am I involved in now? Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm at the moment I've just been rehearsing for a show called Dear Santa Live. So it's for kids, and it's in London, Chichester. I'm going on a UK tour, and I'm the understudy for the lead girl in that. So hopefully I'll get to go on and do a few shows this Christmas. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
Right. So how are we doing?
Got another one for Lucy.
Right?
Yep.
I don't know if she can hear me. If it's got
Can I hear you? No.
chances of future acting work, and then on top of that was, what did your agent make of it?
Oh, what does my agent make of it? Is that what you said? Sorry. He hasn't watched it yet, but he has said he will watch it because it will be available after this premiere. I think that was another question someone asked. It will be available after this to watch again if you want to, and he said he will watch it. He was busy this evening. And oh yeah, does this experience enhance your chance of future acting work? Well, I will use some of this footage for my show reel, so you never know. Hopefully, but depends who watches it. And I might use some of the shots for my show reel, which is what casting directors can look at. So possibly, but who knows?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Good luck for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Any others? So we got some more that people sent in.
Yeah.
So you go.
We've got one from Matt Miller on the chat as well.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, other Matt, what sort of camera did you use? From Graham.
Well, thank you, Graham. We had two cameras, me and Mike. Both were Lumix, Panasonic Lumix. Mine was a GH5, and Mike, what was yours?
G9.
Sorry,
G9.
Both mirrorless DSLRs. Yeah.
There you go.
To me, it's a camera.
Yeah.
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 It's the man behind the camera as well.
That's it. Yeah.
Or woman, but they were men.
In this case, it was it was Matt.
It was Matt.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Other ones?
Do you want next question?
Yeah. Shall we? Yeah.
We've already covered a lot of them in people. In
Yeah. I don't want to miss anyone out if they've been kind enough to send the question in. So,
Where will they be able to see the film again, Mike?
Sorry?
Where will they be able to see the film again?
Where?
If they've got to watch it again? As one of them.
It'll just be on the YouTube and Facebook channels where you saw it tonight. I think they get converted automatically to just be a video on those channels now. But I'll check that, and if not, I'll repost it on the Facebook and YouTube channels anyway. But what we're hoping at some stage in the future, when things get back to a better sort of footing. We were hoping that maybe we might be able to show it in some local venues or something. So I don't know if anyone from the Hillcrest Centre Film Club people are listening in or whatever. It'd be nice to play it there, because it is obviously it's a New Haven community project really, and it'd be nice if people could see it there, and it'd be nice if people could see it in a nicer resolution than on a streaming site. So I think if you could see it on a bigger screen as well, and a bit of an atmosphere, that sort of thing. Yeah, so when we get a chance, I don't know whether I'm not putting any pressure on Martin or anything, Martin Miller, the vicar, but I guess maybe we could do it in the church at some stage, play it in the church as well, and then people could go and see the memorial as well if you haven't seen it already. I'm sure a lot of people have. But yeah, but definitely it'll be online where it was tonight, and we'll just sort of see where it goes from there, really. Yeah.
I see Steve Hunt's asked, do you think you'd take on another similar local project? The actual album that the Brazen Souls came from has got some other local stories on there, which was what was going to be part of the. We were going to put on a big show and whatever, but as that didn't take place, so maybe there will be an opportunity to do something with some of the other ones, perhaps as a film. It all depends.
It'll be nice.
It'd be nice to sort of do something more, because I have to say it was really good fun doing it.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great. It was long hours and hard work. Well, what's hard work? We're not going out and doing manual labour and stuff, but from a it was quite sort of exhausting in a way. Not physically, I don't think, particularly, although long, late nights. Things like that, any other things? Or we got a few that were sent in before.
There's one on here, and there's someone from Harry that's just been popped up. Which is, will this film help go towards your A levels?
I don't think it will, but of course, like Lucy, I'm very proud to have it in my showreel, so that'll be great. Sort of portfolio of stuff I've done. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. Thank you. Any more? Anyone spotted? So we can only see a little section of the questions here. So,
okay,
can we? I've just been told we can scroll through the questions. I don't know how I do that.
I'm going to say hi to Alex. I'm
no, I can't. I can't scroll through them.
Oh, can you not?
No.
I can scroll through them.
Oh, excuse me.
They're on that screen.
There is one that someone said
can't see
beforehand, which was, do we have a particular funny memory of the project?
Oh, yeah. Who sent that in?
I think it was Martin.
Martin. Go on then, Beth.
We get to say
you can say it. Yeah.
I don't have the video prepared. I think. Are we going to post it? Can we post it?
Oh, yeah, we will post it.
So
at some stage.
This particular day, I was asked to take some backstage photos and videos. And Micah decided to go down. There's a big slope on the beach of stone, so we were filming up on the top. And we went
Stop laughing, you guys.
down.
Stop it.
That's really funny.
Micah decided to go down onto the sand. And then when he was trying to get back up again, very much it had been raining, it was wet, it was slippery, it was a very steep slope. He got about half the way up and just slid the whole way back down again, which was hilarious. And then it actually happened a second time, on his second attempt at getting up. He did manage to get up to the top of the stones this time, and then slipped right at the top, and just fell down on his back like at the top.
Those stones. The beach is a nightmare, isn't it? Yeah, so it was quite steep. But what made it worse, we're sort of alluding to that earlier on. Alluding to that earlier on was Matt and Lucy are so fit. Matt, everyone's fit to be, but they were very fit. And Lucy and Matt and I were down on the sand at the time, exactly as Beth described. And then we thought, we just go up to the top again. So Matt sort of goes like a gazelle, jumping up the beach, and Lucy just got up there as well. And I just couldn't do it. I thought I used to be fit, but I got about halfway up, and then my knees started to go, so I had to stop. And as soon as you stop, you just sort of slip back into the beach again and slide back down again. So it was I thought I was going to have to wait till the incoming tide, so I could float back up again. but luckily
You did
managed to do it. Anyone else got any funny moments that they'd like to chip in with?
Every time Jenny went with her measuring tape towards the end of the cliff to make sure we were 3 meters away from the cliff, that happened a lot. Like, are you 3 meters away with the measuring tape? That was quite funny.
Yeah, that's right. I think we did. I think we've been posting photos over the past month or so, like behind the scenes photos, and there is one of those I think where it's got Lucy and I think I can't remember all in it. Yeah, and I've got my tape measure out, and I'm sort of measuring the 3 meters from the cliff edge, and all in our gear with the masks and the gloves and that. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could scroll back down to the 900 Years of Journey to Time Facebook page and see some of those photos that are behind the scenes if you hadn't seen them already. Oh, this is nice. Do you have a particular happy memory from the project? Oh, sorry. Did anyone else have any more funny ones? I don't know.
Oh, that is the question we're currently answering.
Happy and funny.
Yeah.
Oh, happy. Oh,
That's just Matt typing.
That's,
it.
that's a happy memory.
Also correct. Got me on that one. 98 words a minute, but doesn't mean they're all right.
What was your happy/funny one?
Well, I mean, I've got to agree on the on down at the beach because that was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Matt Miller's dog. Also,
Yes.
Nice.
Well.
We actually, I think, because that was on the day that the drone crashed, so we don't have the actual proper footage,
No.
but we do, I think, have like what I saw on the monitor. I think the other footage for that somewhere saved, and I think it was Matt Miller. Was it your dog that like came and ran after us?
Yeah, that was Echo starring in the film as well. Yeah, that dog walk.
Yeah,
Not a good idea.
that was just really sweet. Just thought it was a little game, but yeah, that was very fun. I think there's just a moment which really sums up me and my dad when we were flying. I think it was the first day. It was either on the first day of filming or on location scout. It's just this photo, which is both of us looking really confused.
Is it over there?
So yeah, it's just like if you go over there, and what was it you kept saying? You kept saying that you thought I was going to crash into the cliff face.
Don't fly too close. Don't fly too close.
This was 3 days before, but yeah. That, I just thought I always look back on that photo and was thinking, what are we doing?
What about?
Was,
sorry.
Getting up the beach. No, I think my favourite's probably getting up the beach. It was just too funny.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Lucy, what was your? Oh,
Lucy said her said the
She said you with the tape measure.
Oh,
I think,
yeah. Matt, did Matt end the same one? No.
I think Mike, that was definitely the highlight. Sorry, Mike.
There you go.
Mike falling over was the highlight of the entire experience.
Exactly.
Everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. But it was even I was laughing myself as well.
People want a blooper reel.
Yeah.
Outtakes. Do we have videos of Mike falling over?
Yeah, I recorded it.
That should come out. We'll get that
Oh
sorted.
God, yeah.
I'll edit
A
that
blooper
one.
reel would be brilliant. Yeah.
I'll edit that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, what you two over there? Funny moments?
I don't know about funny. I think what a happy moment was. I just thought we had some really beautiful light, especially when we were. Well, there were 2 days that were really lovely. One was on the cliff top, and it was. I mean, you can see it in the film. And New Haven looked so beautiful. I think on the cliff top. And the other one, I mean, it was a shot that we weren't able to include because it was such a short time in the churchyard. I mean, the light there and looking at the light through the trees and Lucy walking down the path, it was just so lovely. And I just thought, oh, we're so lucky. We live in a lovely place, as my mum would say.
Yeah, Jenny, I really agree. I think sometimes New Haven's beauty isn't always appreciated, and I think a lot of it was highlighted in the film.
It looks stunning in the film.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of lighting. Oh, have you not done yours yet?
No, it's all right. No, I think everything was a laugh. No, I did. I just really enjoyed it, and I mean, I was really glad Jenny was there to do all the behind the scenes,
Yeah,
organising
yeah.
and sorting out and
Yeah.
everything. It was like I don't think it would have happened if she hadn't have done all that. So that was
Agreed.
There was
brilliant.
a moment that was stressful at the time, but it was funny looking back at it, which was the script for the day.
Oh, that's what I
Oh,
was. That was the one I
was
forgot.
fun.
That was the one
I
I
was
forgot.
reminding you.
That was the one I forgot.
Oh, shall I say that then?
Do you
Yeah,
want me?
say that
I
one.
don't. Yeah, you can say.
No, you can say it. You go on.
I was so out of breath. You can say it. It's all
Oh,
right.
well, laughing.
No, running.
Oh, running. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Was it? I can't remember
I
exactly.
don't know what day it's going to be.
It was,
Yeah, it was a
the
horrible.
second day.
It was the second day, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did have when I said we didn't have a shooting schedule until Friday, we didn't. But on one of the days, we did have a couple of bullet points on a list of things that we were going to film, wasn't it?
It's like 3 pages.
Well, yeah. Was it 3 pages?
3 pages. We have.
Oh, okay.
Trust me, I
But
can't.
anyway, yeah, it is. And we just got out of the car. We were down
Open the boot.
parked on the right at the end, where as far down as you can park, to be able to walk along the beach. And it was very windy and very exposed there, as you know. And we just opened the boot. And did you actually get it out, or someone actually
I don't know.
got it out? I don't know whether it's one of those
If
things.
it's taken out or if it just flew out.
I think it was taken out. I think it was one of those things where someone holds it, goes like that, thinks they've got it, and lets go, and the person
No,
hasn't
I
quite
think
got it.
it just flew out the car.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it flew out the car. So anyway, it was our shooting sort of indicator, and it flew out, and we were just flying off down the thing. And who ran off it? Was it
Me.
Matt?
I ran
You
off it.
and it was both.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if I could do this.
Or was it you and
And Martin Miller.
yeah.
It was quite a team trying to retrieve it.
people?
But unfortunately, it did end up in the drink, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately. So
Sandy beach.
apologies to the environment for that. But yeah, so yeah, that was. But that was quite irritating at the time. But it is quite funny to
But
think of.
they did that. The whole like thinking they've got it and then they don't have it did happen.
Oh, yeah,
because
put
Jen
your
had her
foot on it.
And then Matt
Yeah,
went to
that
pick
was it.
up,
That was
this Matt.
Yeah.
He didn't quite have it when Jen let go of her foot. So it was just missed again.
Yeah.
But it was like I got painfully close every time, and it because the wind was so strong, it would be a thing of you would lift your foot up to grab it, and it would just fly away again and run after it. I think it was me and Martin Miller were literally just running after it for about 3 minutes.
For
And-
its entire journey.
Its entire journey,
To the-
and this
Yeah,
is
well,
like what? It's about 100 meters that we were chasing this piece of paper for, and yeah, he sadly lost it.
Any more?
We've
Oh,
got
we
another
need to
one
go.
from Nabil. Matt, well, what lighting equipment did we need for different scenes?
Yeah, well, so we had the blue LED, which gave the really nice kind of moonlight feel, which is very nice. And then we also had a key light on Lucy, which actually, Mike, was that just a ring light which you brought from home? It was all kind of cobbled together.
Yeah.
Tis that ring
Yeah.
light we have.
We're using it now, or no? Those people over there are using it now.
Yeah, and then also candlelight. And Jenny, wasn't that inspired from something you'd seen?
Yeah, we the candlelight. We learnt a lot from YouTube, didn't we?
We did,
And
yeah.
one of the ones we looked at was the making of Wolf Hall, and in Wolf Hall they used a lot of candlelight because they used the light that the people would have had at the time, and that's what we wanted to do really, because it looks so. If you've got, or apart from the moonlight, which we placed it, didn't you, Matt, in the window, and it's quite a deep windowsill, so it was in the place that it ought to be. It was by the window, but the rest was mainly lit by the candlelight, and you can see it because it gives such a lovely light, doesn't it? And that was just from watching a video about from the cinematographer or director of photography, I'm not sure who, but who did it for Wolf Hall. And we thought, well, you might as well learn from people who do it professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Matt and Jenny have both got a really good eye for light and colour and things. So it was great that
True.
both of you were there to do that. Have we swapped sides?
Yeah, I did it, so we're actually looking at each other. I worked out we could do it.
Well done.
And Lucy, with the props, you in that
Yeah,
scene,
absolutely.
because you'd been practicing, hadn't you, with the quill pen, because you were writing with a quill, and then I produced a book for you which had different paper in, which was
The ink smudged a lot. I was trying to do Anita's writing and it just smudged everywhere, all over my hands. So it was a bit of a nightmare, but it looked pretty in the film. No one would know.
Yeah.
wouldn't have known, would you?
No, it was really good because it was a real
Quill.
quill pen and ink, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Lucy really was dipping it in the ink and writing it
Yeah.
with a feather, basically.
And it was Parker ink, so I thought we'd keep
Oh,
the
Parker
new
pen, yeah,
connection.
Parker ink. Yeah, there you go.
I
Yeah.
have a question for Lucy, just from me, which is how does this type of filming, so actually like being on location and having to run around and stuff, compare to like stage productions?
So for a stage production, you would definitely have a set of rehearsals that can vary from like a week to 4 weeks, in my experience, to 5 weeks. And then obviously when you're doing the show live, you're doing it over and over again live. However, it's live in the moment, and if anything goes wrong, you've just got to wing it and see what happens on stage in front of obviously a live audience. So it's usually stage acting as well is a bit bigger. So for screen acting, obviously if anything goes wrong, you can just do it again. Everything's a lot closer up. Every minute detail is going to be picked up by the camera, so you've got to be kind of a lot more specific with every movement you do, every look, every aspect of your performance is a lot more specific because of the cameras. But it is nice that you can, if things go wrong, you can do things again. Like when I was walking in the graveyard and there was like a bug on my face. So we had to do that again. So stuff like that it actually puts the pressure off a bit, I think. When you're filming something for screen, the pressure's off because you can do it again, whereas it's a lot more scary going on stage live in front of an audience.
Yeah. Cool.
But we want you for the live performance.
But also more exciting.
Yeah.
And also for screen, there's no rehearsals. I kind of just have to turn up and do it, which is common in the industry as well.
Yeah, brilliant. How are we doing? Any others?
I think that's pretty much all of them.
I think we are pretty
Are
much.
we nearly done?
I think we've done the questions.
I think we're done.
What advice would you give to novice filmmakers?
That's a good one.
From novice filmmakers.
Yeah, but we are novice filmmakers. yeah.
Yeah,
Who was
if
that
there's
from?
anyone in the audience that
yeah.
are thinking about doing it for themselves and seeing if they can do a film, what have you learned and what's
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Well,
Is the question, sorry, what have we learnt from our mistakes?
No,
what advice would you give to novice filmmakers, to anyone wanting to do this for themselves?
Have an amazing producer who is planning it all out very well. Jenny.
Yeah, is that saying I did or didn't?
Yeah. What you want?
You don't want one of those like her. You want an amazing one.
Going to be organised.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And don't do it during a pandemic. It make life a bit easier.
You've got a point there.
Maybe wait till that's over.
Actually, we were very lucky, weren't we? Because we got in just before the second lockdown, didn't we? We just about filmed it. I think we finished. Was it?
Well,
the
I think because
a couple of weeks before, yeah.
Where Lucy lives, she went into a different tier, didn't she? And wouldn't have been able to travel. Yeah. So you wouldn't have been able to travel. So we were really lucky there. I mean, my advice,
before London went into tier 2, right?
My advice would be there are so many organisations out there that help, that are there so that they can help filmmakers. I think it was on the credits, the Sussex Film Office. They help with advice on locations, and they gave me advice on health and safety and screen skills. That's another free thing. That's where I learned from the COVID. So there's lots of people out there that can help you and that are pleased to help you, so take advantage of anything you can get and learn from people who've done it before, and look at films as well. That's the other thing. Films that you like, see what they do and see if you can replicate it, because that's what we did with the like night shots and things, and try and understand how they did things, and if they did things nicely, think, oh, I wonder if we could do that. Matt,
Yeah.
what about you?
Advice.
Mm.
Apart from don't crash your drone.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not the right person to be giving filmmaking advice.
No, none of us.
What have we written?
What you learned throughout the process. Maybe know your editing equipment before trying to edit.
I'd say just plan that things are going to take longer than you expect them to.
Yeah, that's
is
actually very good.
definitely something. Make sure you're like over prepared, like over prepared. Like 3 drone batteries is not enough to get you through a day of filming over prepared. Yeah. But other than that, I just say just take it as it comes, have fun, and yeah, make sure you're doing something you actually want to do. I suppose, like, make sure you're gonna put a lot of dedication into it, because you're going to be on that project for a long time.
I'd say it's probably more from their point of view that if there's a shot that you really want in, it just doesn't quite make it. That's okay. No, we had I don't think the lantern made it in, did it? So we had some props.
No, we got a lantern.
We had some props that didn't make it in, and there were some really nice shots that just didn't manage to make it in because of things like continuity or time, or the lighting wasn't right, or things like that. And that's okay. You still end up with a really nice film at the end of it, even if there are some things that I really wish that could have made it in. You have to be really strict with what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. No, I agree with that entirely. Yeah, I think everything that people have said is exactly right. I mean, I was anticipating it to take longer than I thought it would, and it still took about twice as long as I thought it would. But I'd anticipated it to take as long as I thought it would. If you know what I mean. So it's yeah, and I mean, just YouTube was my go-to place. I should really have written down some of the places that I went to. There was someone called Leela, I think a YouTube channel called a lady called Leela, and then there was the wedding guy, wasn't there? Wasn't it? There was someone who was good. Yeah, and there were loads of them. There were just loads of people that can show you different bits and pieces. But obviously, I'm not a film editor, so it was. Well, but it was not really, no. But it was a case of I sort of thought we could do it, and we give it a go. And then I did have a sort of an idea of what I wanted it to look like, and that was quite frustrating, I think, because sometimes I just couldn't make it happen. And I think there must be people who can do this in about 5 minutes. It's taken me 5 days. I still can't do it. So I think I would still just go for it and see how you get on, really. That was Jane. That's to give yourself lots of time.
Yeah.
Talking of time, I can't believe that we've been on
over
an hour and 10 minutes, and there's still lots of nice people listening in. But I think perhaps we should. Sorry about people who sent. If there were any questions we didn't get to answer,
we can always put
them
on Facebook.
There is one that will take about a minute.
Oh, go on then.
To answer. We got one from Graham, which is how long did the entire project take from start to finish?
Oh, right, okay. That's not a minute. That's not a minute to answer.
It's a few seconds.
Yeah, started on the 10th of September.
Yeah.
And ended today.
Yeah.
Although the music was
except the music was done before. Yeah. So if you include the music, what I was going to say.
A film project,
just the filming part of it. Yeah. That was right.
So, the music and the narration was all recorded last year.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the piece was actually the longest piece from the album as well.
Yeah.
I think from start to finish, I wasn't doing it all the time, but it would have taken, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks, I think, to do that one track. I think. Yeah,
I think about that. It was definitely the biggest.
It was the biggest of all the songs on the album.
Like just about longer than Can You Hear the Bells, I think.
Yeah.
And Lucy did the narration.
Yeah,
on that,
just said,
Oh, did you say?
no. And so that's great because it's got that continuity So when on the cliff top Lucy's saying, "But not my man, not my man," it is actually Lucy saying,
Not my
that,
man.
"Not my man." Yeah. So it's nice that it's the right voice for the right person.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so shall we
Try and
call
do
it
that
there?
thing,
What's the thing we want to do?
playing the.
Yeah, we've got it. Right.
Oh yeah, that's what we were going to do then. Yeah. So one of the things that we've been trying all this week is to get the video to play, or the film to play within what we're using now for the chat, which has been a struggle. So we're going to try it now, and we'll finish with that. So thank you so much to everyone who watched the film tonight. We really, really appreciate it, and especially all these people that have stayed on and listening to the others doing concise answers, me rambling on. It's really, really good of you to do that. And I'd like to thank everyone in our crew. And there's also, she was too shy to admit it and join, but there was a certain person called Sarah Alexandra who also helped out. So there were 7 of us on the project, and all the support that we got from St Michael's and the 2020 committee and everything. It's great to know that there were those people behind us, sort of urging us on. So thank you all for that, and Mum and Dad, and everyone who knows.
It's his Oscar speech now.
Yeah, no. But yeah, and so thank you everyone. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have been. I think everyone on the team has been absolutely, not me, everyone else has been absolutely fantastic.
You have been fantastic. It's your whole vision.
But you're all. I really do think. I'm not just saying it. They really are all really talented people,
and so are you.
Yes, Mike. You got to take a lot of credit.
You're the one that stayed up to multiple times.
Yeah, well, that's anyway.
Everyone's skills were really. I mean, mine, I didn't do a huge amount, but like the writing of the music and the actual lyrics, I thought said lyrics, so spoken, but the words were beautiful and they're written really, really well. And Jen did amazingly with the production and actually going through the stuff that no one really wants to do, all the law stuff and the insurance and the COVID stuff. It's just all, but it's so important. It was done so well and it was all really thought out. It was really nice, all the little packs and stuff, and it was the texting.
Oh yeah.
I had to text my mum every morning to say I didn't have COVID symptoms, even though we live in the same house.
And it was really good, and you also mixed the music and stuff, so that was really good. And Lucy's acting is incredible. Like, I'd been told that before I'd seen it, but then I literally, I saw her doing it on the watch show, and I was like, this is making me want to cry. And I was like, why do I want to cry just from watching Lucy act? It was really emotional, and Matt's cinematography is incredible, and just the shots that he gets are so nice, the things you wouldn't even think about, and the dedication to getting those shots was really nice to see. So yeah, well done everybody, and thank you for
well done everyone
involving me.
I'm just saying, Beth just talked herself into being the publicity agent for our next production. Right then, thank you guys. We're going to try it. So
we'll leave it on the video.
And we'll leave it on the video, and then when the video ends, that will be the end of it. If you wanted to see it again now, we're going to give it a go. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess. Can we say that now?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Cue film. Cue film.
5 minutes later.
Whoa.
26th of January, 1800. A wretched day as I recall. For I dreamed that on that day I was awoken earlier than the sun. The hollow foreboding alarm so long and plaintive rung. A 1,000 paces west of here, a ship was gone aground beneath the cliffs. Although still dark, the spot was easy found. The wretched mariners' cries for help were guidance by their sound. We ran across the fading beach, my unborn child and I, towards the place we could not reach, the flooding tide so cruelly caught our feet. As daylight pushed the darkness veil away, we saw to our dismay a broken vessel buffeted by the storm, enraged and angry at the rising morn. From cliff to victim, distance was too vast, despairing sailors clinging to the mast. The angry sounds from violent stormy moans, the breaking boat, the breaking bones. Helpless victims battling their fate, helpless rescuers forced to watch and wait. And in my heart I begged he was not there, had stayed in port and waited for the weather to be fair. Or was alive but floating in the rage and reaching out in vain to grab the cage. For two brave heroes with thoughts not for their own were lowered from the cliff top down and down. Their rescue craft was no more than a pen, but it could be salvation for some men. One man was dragged out from the deep and saved that day from his eternal sleep. But not my man. Not my man. And he confirmed it. Deep inside I knew 'twas Captain Hanson and the BRAZEN sinking from our view. Those brazen souls, the sloop had been their nest. 95 came lifelessly to shore, and in the graveyard now are laid to rest. Their monument reminds us evermore. To this day my gaze from shore is ever with sadness tinged, as still I hear their mournful cries carried on the wind.